Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Roman Reigns' reaction to Jimmy and Jey Uso hugging explained. The WWE Universe has been following every twist in the Bloodline saga, and one of the most emotional moments recently was when Jimmy and Jey Uso, despite all the turbulence and betrayal within the family, shared an unexpected hug. This simple gesture was loaded with meaning, drawing both cheers and gasps from fans. Yet, perhaps the most intriguing part of the whole moment was the reaction of Roman Reigns, the tribal chief and undisputed leader of the bloodline. Roman's facial expressions, his subtle gestures, and even his silence spoke volumes, fueling countless theories. Was he angry, disappointed, conflicted, or perhaps, deep down, did he feel betrayed? Let's break down Roman Reigns' reaction to Jimmy and Jey's emotional reunion, and what it could mean for the bloodline moving forward. To understand the significance of Roman's reaction, it's essential to grasp the context of the bloodline storyline. Over the past 3 years, Roman Reigns has built an empire on the foundation of loyalty, family loyalty in particular. This loyalty wasn't always freely given. It was often extracted through intimidation, manipulation, and an unrelenting pursuit of dominance. Jimmy and Jey Uso, Roman's cousins, were essential to his rise. They enforced Roman's will, keeping challengers at bay and helping him cement his legacy as the tribal chief. But with family, loyalty isn't always simple. Roman's rule was oppressive at times, especially toward Jey Uso, who initially resisted Roman's authority. Eventually, Jey fell in line, though his loyalty seemed strained. Jimmy, however, was a different story. His defiance and independent spirit clashed with Roman's need for control. The tensions between Roman, Jimmy, and Jey have simmered for months, with the power dynamic between them constantly shifting. The breaking point came when Jey ultimately chose to stand against Roman, breaking free from his oppressive rule. Jimmy, too, found himself torn between family bonds and personal honor, leading to his own complicated relationship with the tribal chief. It seemed as though the bloodline was finally fractured for good, with Jimmy and Jey walking their own paths, away from Roman's shadow. During a recent SmackDown segment, Jimmy and Jey came face-to-face in the ring. After all the ups and downs, betrayals, and battles, they embraced, sparking a surge of emotions from the audience. This hug was more than just a brotherly reunion. It was a statement of unity, a silent message that despite their differences, and the chaos Roman had sowed between them, they were still brothers. The crowd roared with approval, and fans everywhere took this moment as a symbol of resilience and love overcoming power struggles and manipulation. But amidst all the applause and cheers, one man wasn't celebrating: Roman Reigns. As the camera panned to Roman's face, his expression was one of cold introspection. There was no outburst, no immediate display of rage or disappointment. Instead, Roman remained still, watching the reunion unfold with a complex mix of emotions. This silent reaction is one of Roman's signature moves. He often lets subtle expressions speak louder than words. For Roman, the hug between Jimmy and Jey wasn't just a heartwarming moment. It was a direct challenge to his authority. The bloodline has always been about Roman's power and his expectation of absolute loyalty. By hugging, Jimmy and Jey signaled that they had a bond that Roman couldn't control, a connection that was beyond his influence. This hug also meant that the unity Roman had painstakingly maintained was no longer solely under his control. Even though Jimmy and Jey had been part of the bloodline, their loyalty to each other as brothers outweighed their loyalty to Roman. Roman's control over his family was slipping, and this moment was a reminder that no matter how powerful he is, he can't sever the natural bond between his cousins. Roman Reigns has always prided himself on his ability to keep the bloodline in line, positioning himself as the family's undisputed leader. However, seeing Jimmy and Jey embrace was likely a jarring reminder of his own vulnerability. Roman's power relies on absolute control, and witnessing his cousins share a moment without his consent or influence likely felt like a betrayal. In his mind, Roman has sacrificed everything to elevate the bloodline, building a legacy and pushing his family to the top of WWE. He expects loyalty in return for these efforts, and any hint of defiance or independence from his cousins is seen as an affront to his authority. This hug between Jimmy and Jey, though simple, was a display of independence, a reminder that they don't need Roman to define their bond or their worth. Moreover, Roman may have felt a sense of jealousy and resentment. As the tribal chief, he has isolated himself emotionally, constantly asserting his dominance and control, which has left him disconnected from his own family in many ways. Jimmy and Jey, on the other hand, share a closeness and camaraderie that Roman, in his quest for power, has sacrificed. Their hug highlighted this divide, making Roman realize that his pursuit of dominance has come at the cost of genuine relationships. Roman's reaction to Jimmy and Jey's hug may signify the beginning of a new chapter in the bloodline story, one in which Roman's control continues to wane as his cousins embrace their autonomy. Jimmy and Jey have made it clear that they can stand on their own, independent of Roman's influence. This shift threatens Roman's authority and could mark the end of the bloodline as we know it. In future segments, Roman may try to reassert his control by forcing Jimmy and Jey to choose between loyalty to him or loyalty to each other. He could use manipulation tactics, reminding them of the success they achieved as part of the bloodline, and framing any defiance as a betrayal of the family's legacy. However, the power dynamics have shifted, and Jimmy and Jey's bond may prove too strong for Roman's usual methods to work. This also opens the door for potential new alliances and rivalries. If Jimmy and Jey stand united, they could become a formidable force in WWE, challenging Roman's dominance and possibly rallying other superstars who have grown tired of Roman's rule. The Usos, as an independent team, freed from Roman's influence, would have the chance to write their own story, no longer bound by the dictates of the tribal chief. Ultimately, Roman's reaction to Jimmy and Jey's hug highlights a central theme of the bloodline storyline: loyalty versus brotherhood. Roman demands loyalty, but Jimmy and Jey's brotherhood is something deeper, something that can't be commanded or manipulated. This fundamental difference in their relationships explains why Roman's reaction was one of cold contemplation. He's beginning to realize that his form of loyalty can never match the natural bond his cousins share. For fans, this moment represents a powerful turning point in WWE's narrative, showcasing the depth of the bloodline storyline. As Roman grapples with his diminishing control, the WWE Universe is left wondering what lengths he will go to in order to maintain his power. Will he attempt to break Jimmy and Jey's bond for good? Or will he, for the first time, have to confront the fact that not all loyalty can be bought or enforced? As the story unfolds, one thing is certain: the bloodline saga is far from over, and this unexpected hug may be the catalyst that leads to the final clash between Roman Reigns and the cousins who are tired of bowing to his rule. This is not just a family feud. It's a battle for freedom, identity, and respect. And in WWE, those battles often lead to unforgettable moments and legacy-defining matches.